Lights and skies, they glide at night. No explaining, hearts are racing. Chased in shadows, thrills in flight. Hovering, unseen trace. Fueled by mystery, unprovoked proof. Mavericks, electricity, we're feeling the roof. You better look up with wide-eyed sight. They're passing above like stars so bright. Ooh, drones across the skies. Whoa! Drones across the skies. Silent sharks pierce the cloudy night. Hover calmly, freedom lies. Wings of the unknown defy our sight. Travelers of darkened land. Curious wanderers changing the red sky. Secrets now within our hand. You better look up with wide-eyed sight. They're passing above like stars so bright. Ooh, drones across the skies. Whoa, drones across the skies, moving in formation above the light. New Jersey skies, a thrilling flight. Up with wide-eyed sight. They're passing above like stars so bright. Ooh, drones across the skies. Whoa, drones across the skies. Whoa.
My tech lizard's feeling low, circuits fried, can't glow. Silicon scales won't shine. Once a star, now it's mine. Reptile dysfunction, gears and bites malfunction. Reptile dysfunction, heart of a bot in detention. Microchips gone haywire, no more robot fire. Pixelated dreams have died, holograms cannot hide. Wigging in the night, try to make it right. Wires crossed in flight, dawn brings no light.
If the times I come alone, yeah, stop recording on you. You're something life, I've been rushing to be sunburned. I feel this in the wild, in the wild, in the wild. In the wild,
chasing ghosts of you. Hey. Every mirror shows her face. She's alive in memories. Alright. Alright.
Ain't honey unbelief. Stand over and attend my teeth. If out there to get you, I'll start to hurt.
Talking was attitude, but that's not seems opposite side to feel some people.
In a while, in a while. By the road, by the road, by the road. Living free just like mama did before. In the heart of a child I find echoes of you every time I lose track in her past. Chasing dreams, her dreams, chasing dreams, that dream. Gonna ride like mama in that silver stream. Every photo with her smile, she's a star in my mind. Won't deny in the night, in her eyes. Stars above like the ones in mama's life. On the move, we move, always on, never still. She says she'll find her promised land with every mile, destiny she defies. Living loud, just like mama, wild and free. In the mirror of her soul I see traces of her fearless dreams.
Night falls, drones in flight ring through the sky, seekers. Where you at, lights flash, hypnotize. We are the watchers. We are the seekers. We are the dreamers. We are the dreams that fly, that fly. Thrilled feels electric pulse through the night. They roam seekers. Where you at, heartbeats feel like home. We are the watchers. We are the seekers. We are the dreamers. We are the dreams that's like, that's like. I need what the big speak I. That's what my soul I need some more slowly We are the watchers. We are the seekers. We are the dreamers. We are the dreams that fly, that fly.
Through quantum fields, our spirits thread entangled moments, words unsaid, a force unseen defying the span, linking hearts, our mystic plan. In the echo of your laughter,
Lights and skies, they glide at night. No explaining, hearts are racing. Chased in shadows, thrills in flight. Hovering, unseen trace. Fueled by mystery, unprovoked proof. Mavericks, electricity, we're feeling the roof. You better look up with wide-eyed sight. They're passing above like stars so bright. Ooh, drones across the skies. Whoa, drones across the skies. Silent sharks, crystal cloudy night. Hover calmly, freedom lies. Wings of the unknown defy our sight. Travelers of darkened land. Curious wanderers changing the red sky. Secrets now within our hand. You better look up with wide-eyed sight. They're passing above like stars so bright. Ooh, drones across the skies. Whoa, drones across the skies, moving in formation above the light. New Jersey skies, a thrilling flight. Up with wide-eyed sight. They're passing above like stars so bright. Ooh, drones across the skies. Whoa, drones across the skies. Whoa.
My tech lizard's feeling low. Circuits fried, can't glow. Silicon scales won't shine. Once a star, now it's mine. Reptile dysfunction. Gears and bites malfunction. Reptile dysfunction. Heart of a bot in detention. Microchips gone haywire. No more robot fire.
Let me make sure that I got my OBS set up so that there we go. And for the teams, and I'll bring down standby. And we'll do that, and there they go. Hey, Barry.
Testing.
He's in. He just needs to turn mic on and plug in.
Welcome, all you freaks and clowns. What's going on?
What was that?
Not much.
That was kind of muffled.
Oops. Okay, there we go. Now say something. I can hear you. Hello.
Yeah, it's
Test
a lot
mic.
better.
That's a lot better. Yeah.
What did you do?
What do you mean?
I'm getting feedback. Oh, I got feedback off myself here for a minute, but now it cleared
did
up. Yeah, it cleared up now.
Very interesting.
Okay, Cylon
There-
from
there it is.
Battlestar Galactica.
That's a Beastie Boys riff.
Yeah.
It most certainly is, man.
Intergalactic planetary.
I kind of like the one that just repeats in your head and you just say,
It sure does.
hey.
No, not that one.
Hey.
Okay, Barry.
Want to drive people insane.
Thanks,
see what this
Roger.
one-
Appreciate you restreaming us again tonight.
Thank you, Roger. To infinity and beyond.
No, you got to say one step beyond. Do 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 do.
What?
Who did that? I can't think of who did that. One Step Beyond song.
One.
Okay.
Feedback. Test.
No, you sound great.
Mic check. One, two.
Yeah, you sound perfect, dude. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, use that because that was it, man. Whatever you're doing now, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it
For
sounds
Sunday
like it's.
show on with Willie. Yeah, anytime.
It sounds. See, it's echoing now, but when I put it on normal, it sounds. It sounds echoing.
I don't hear any echo.
It's perfect now.
No, it's not.
And now it's just echoing forever. I
Yeah.
don't get it. It's strange.
Yeah.
I think it sounds good.
Good.
I think it may be the user.
You know, add just a little bit, and it's like kind of in the background, and it's not too annoying, but yet you still hear it.
Too annoying. Okay.
How about like that? Where it's soft,
I like
just
it.
echoes.
No,
So, Brent, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life tonight.
where's he at?
I don't know. He should be
Willies.
He'll be in here like 2
Yeah,
minutes
when we switch
before,
rooms.
like when we start the
here. Start the engine.
the actual show
Start
up.
the
You
engines
know?
and go.
Welcome to the not the after show, the pre-show, folks. We're getting together here, and while I set up, and we're getting all our shit together, as I could say. Yeah.
Is that what we're
On
doing?
my end, yeah. So,
I thought you always had it together, man. I thought you were like, you know,
right.
the guy
I get
who
it
shows
together.
2 minutes early.
Yeah.
What happened to that? What happened to that guy?
That guy.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good guy, though. I liked him, man. He always showed up early, you know. Never showed up 2 or 3 minutes late.
Yeah.
I remember that guy
I
too,
like
yeah.
that guy. Yeah, I like that guy. That guy, you know.
I didn't even mind him smoking his pipe.
It's like you know, that guy was ready. You know, he was like really prepared and never got distracted or any of that. And like,
Yeah,
wow,
what happened?
I like that guy. I want to be that guy one day.
What
you know?
happened? What happened? What happened?
What happened? Well,
What was the
let's-
distraction, man? What
let's-
was the distraction that led you astray?
Well, I do have our good boy over here, Zeus, today. He's been in and out. You know.
Oh, you're
checking-
blaming the dog.
Yeah.
Blame the dog. There you go.
the dog.
Yeah,
There you
Yes,
go, Mark.
Zeus the dog. Yeah.
Dog, even a reason, and you're blaming it on a
Zeus,
dog.
Come here, buddy. Come here.
Maybe
Let's
it's
see if
too
I
much
can show 'em.
responsibility for Mark.
Yeah. Come here. Come here, boy. Come here, boy.
much.
Come here.
Maybe it's
here.
just too much
Come
for
on.
him to handle. I don't know.
It could
on.
be. It
Up
could
here.
be.
He just doesn't have the talent and the skills to do it, you know,
Hold on here.
to show up
Well,
too much early.
The time management. It's time management, really.
There's
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, he needs to hire Tony Robbins.
What do you,
and
what do you think, Zeus?
get
the
his act
dog?
together.
Hey, Zeus, come here, buddy. You're on this.
Kind of see his profile. It's sort of just a black profile against a white backdrop.
Yeah, he's dark. He kind of blends in pretty good because of his darkness. You know, that's one of those things.
Sounds-
The darkness.
Racist, man. Sounds awful.
Well, he's not a very good dog, I can tell you that.
He? Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He got you short.
You're gonna
Yeah,
tell
because
him?
he got you to
You're
stop
the
that.
assistant executive something other producer.
I mean,
with
you
me.
used to show up
You
2
tell
minutes
him.
early. Now,
See, a good dog like my dog Blue helps me be on time.
No, it
She'll,
helps you
she'll
be
bark
on
at me
time,
at like
yeah.
5 minutes before.
yeah, exactly. Blue makes sure you're on time, man.
She'll bark 5 times, 5 minutes before, 4 times, 4 minutes before, and then 3.
And if it's
then
3
she'll-
minutes and you're not online, Blue will
Mhm.
bite you.
Yeah, she'll wake me up or whatever.
Sure. It's a friendly nibble at first.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a chomping bite after, when it gets close. Yeah.
Nip you?
So that
Does she really nip you? Oh.
No.
Because she knows
No.
not to bite the hand that feeds her, right?
That's about right.
Good boy. Yeah. You tell him.
Good boy. Good boy.
Yeah, come here.
Down, boy.
Come
Down,
here.
down, down, down.
He's looking all around. Say sit. I want to see if he sits.
Sit.
Oh,
Sit, Zeus. Sit. Roll over, Zeus.
He won't roll over. He's too.
Let's see. Brent wants a show link. Just tell him you're going to call him. We'll bring him in.
Huh? A show link. If he wants to.
Yeah, he asked me for a show link.
If you
I
could,
should just say we're going to...
Yeah, probably the easiest one would be this one here. I'll give him the YouTube
How
link.
about I say Mark will just ring you when he starts the room?
Here, let me. I'll post it in our chat here, and you can.
I'd so much rather just... isn't that the way we were going to go? He doesn't need a link, does he? Aren't you just going to ring him when the room starts?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
if he doesn't
no,
show
I
up for
thought
that.
he wanted to share a link with other folks to watch and listen.
No, he wants... Well, no, I don't know. He's not asking. I don't know what he's asking. He's just saying for a show link, please.
A show link. That would be a show link.
Like the meeting link or the show link?
That would be the show link, not the meeting link.
Okay.
Okay, I can give you
All
a
right.
show
Let
link.
me... Yeah, give me a show link. Let me just... I gotta switch devices, I guess, and respond to his email over here on this one, because I can't get that over here on the one I'm using. Okay, so now we'll go into here. I just saw that. Oh shit, that went by so quick.
Sorry.
Nope. Damn, I thought I clicked it. Tap to return to meeting. Back out, nope. Meeting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Should be in our meeting.
Yeah.
Do you need me to send it to your
No, I just need to find the chat for this meeting.
chat? Oh, that. Oh, hold on here.
Yeah, where would that be? Chat, here it is. Found it. Okay.
Yeah. Go up to where it says like add people and scroll down.
Yep,
There's
I got
the
it. I'm
link.
already past you.
Yep.
All right, man. I prepared a organic green tea, a green matcha tea, ice cold, with milk. It's good.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to top off before we start. That way I will have coffee and it'll be good to go. All right?
Sounds good, man. I'm topped up, ready to go. I got it in the freezer so it gets a little chilled.
Man, have I got some apps open tonight?
What's awesome was I was at Dollar Tree and they had this organic cartons of green tea matcha for $1.25. I mean, that stuff like $4 or $5 or more at like
Gallon.
yeah.
What's the shelf like though? I mean,
Oh, it's still in date. Yeah, it's well in date. I mean, they just
Yeah.
stuff. It's not going to be something they carry like week after week. Is something they got.
Yeah.
They have their staples that they get all the time, and then when they get a closeout or something like that, then it kind of that comes in periodically. So every now and then you get some really good stuff. Like would be like $5 or $6 in the store. So yeah, and I bought different flavors. Green tea and some spice ones and a Kai latte, all certified organic too. So can't beat that.
see now, Mark just sent me a YouTube link here. I kind of want to play it on my tablet so that it feeds back into the.
I wish you had something like I do where it just goes
Yeah.
right through my board that I have.
Well, all I got to do is just open up a live stream of the show. It'll be like 4-second delayed audio coming back into the room. It'll drive Mark crazy.
Yeah, I've been picking up some gear lately, man. I'm building my audio visual gear. I'm probably 80% there now.
Nice.
Yeah. The slow process, just buying when you get the chance and looking for the deals, and when they pop up, just get them. I haven't tried I got a Rode NT1 4th generation mic, condenser mic. I was thinking about trying it out once on the show to see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But I think I
See.
paid like $20 for it, dude. It's like a, I don't know, $250, $300 mic.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Came with the shock mount, everything, dude.
Oh, dude. I don't think I'm going to get any rain.
Man, we've been getting rain like crazy. In fact, that one day I reported that we were having massive chemtrails. I said, when they spray this heavy, it's usually rain that follows soon after. By that evening, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky when I reported that, it started pouring rain. It rained for 2 days straight, basically, off and on. And today was the first day that we, had real clouds in the sky, and we saw blue skies. So they're still hammering us with chemtrails.
It's nice today. It's overcast and chilly. Well, I say chilly. It's 75, I don't know, with a nice breeze. And, it's just nice. It's not hot at all.
I mean, honestly, I've said this many times. Of course, it's worse that they're chemtrailing. But one good thing about chemtrails, the weather is cooler because they're using rain. And look, all these people on social media that have been telling me that, I'm making stuff up. I just went ahead and pulled all the statistics for what's actually happening over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the rainfall and floods is off the chart. And those are the numbers. They're not up for debate, and people need to quit pretending like I'm making stuff up.
Yeah.
But you know what? They just don't want to admit it's true. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. They don't, oh, no, I can't admit that, because it's too scary.
Mm.
Well, get over it, man, because they're definitely playing with the weather. We're having one of the things that I found out was that we're having 40 to 50% increases, actually up to 65% increases in flooding in areas that have never had flooding before. And so and this is what Dane Wigington says, geoengineeringwatch.org, is that they are Yeah, something's going on, And then also another uptick is hell. There's way more hell over the last 3 years than over the last 50 years. In fact, last year was the first year they've ever reported 5-inch diameter hail.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, we're talking softball. And I posted video of it, you know what I'm saying? And all people could do was just bash me and call me a conspiracy theorist. But man, you get hit with one of those things, you're done. Cattle gets hit with one of those things, it's going to be knocked unconscious at least. It'd knock out windows and dent cars. I mean, it's horrible, man. We're talking, I don't know how many pounds they weigh, but I'm sure they're heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's definitely been an uptick in weather anomalies, I should call them. And I guess if you want, you can blame it on climate change and global warming if you believe that nonsense. Or as some people say, oh, it's just, just happens. Well, whatever. It just so happens to happen after everybody and their dog can see them chemtrailing us.
Linda says you might want to save the passion for when the show starts.
Well, I'm only an hour tonight, so I got to get some of it out in the pre-show.
Yeah. Well, if you know Barry, which we all know Barry, his passion never fades away.
It doesn't.
All right.
It only grows.
When things start looking bleak, he'll pull out that bullhorn, whether it has batteries in it, whether the batteries are dead in it, he'll pull it out, and he'll go on a spree. We love him for that, but hey, just be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. We've done this before. You're in good hands, folks.
Yeah. I won't lose too much control before the show. You can count on that, man. I'll always know how to reel it in. I can reel it in anyway. That's what people don't understand. They think I'm getting really worked up, like to the point where I can't stop. And it's like I can stop instantaneously.
You don't get worked up, do you? Really?
Sometimes.
No.
Sometimes.
You got to be kidding me, right?
Here's the super cool thing, man. I ran into a friend of mine I hadn't seen for probably, I don't know, man, eight years, and we started hanging out a little bit again. And he saw me back then as a conspiracy theorist. Now he's like, everything you said, dude. I know about George Soros. I know about the global. I know. You were right, man. I'm sorry for It's like, well, I told you.
That's funny.
I know about that guy. You know that guy?
I do know that guy.
You know that guy.
He is that guy.
Oh my God, the guy.
But you know how cool it is listening to that guy that was making fun of you literally sound like you. And it wasn't like I was feeding him any more information because I hadn't seen him in like 8 years, right? He's getting it from somewhere else. He's getting it online. And one thing that I found about, I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I think one of the biggest eye-openers to a large swath of people in America is completely due to Joe Rogan. Because people love Joe Rogan that were not conspiracy theorists at all, but once they started listening to him, they believed and they started spouting the same stuff.
Yeah, or like you mentioned Bilderberg, and that just he sees that in the headline, it rings a bell, and now he clicks the article and reads it, whereas before he wouldn't have. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true. Yeah.
It's like, not that those fools Barry was talking about. Like, let's go see what this is really about. It's probably bullshit. Then you read the article and you're like, oh crap.
Mm-hmm. Right before the shamdemic, I was at a wedding rehearsal, and they was my peers, and that, and I was going on a rant, like how I can go, and everybody was literally laughing at me. it was like, I'm serious, man. Come on. I'm not joking. And they were just laughing. And then, of course, the shamdemic hit, and they were no longer laughing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of, that's kind of what if you've been doing this for as long as I have, that's what you've been up against. I mean, people laughing at you, making fun of you, or even worse, telling you to leave the country. I've had that told to me many times.
Well, here's something that everybody out there needs to know. Jack's been taken hostage by radioactive chupacabras, and
I told you
down in the in his missile silo that he bought up in the Four Corners area. I can't describe or tell you exactly where it's at. I'm just telling you the Four Corners area, somewhere up there. All right. They invaded. They tied him up, and so Nancy is filling in for him tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
I knew you were going to say that. For some reason, I knew you were going to. Well, I thought you were going to go with the Bigfoot thing, but Sasquatch is.
Yeah. Well, radioactive chupacabras. They're zombified. They got skin dripping off of them, just like the kind that they got down here in Texas. They're not the flying bat type ones that you will find in Puerto Rico or down in Central and South America. Because there's different types of chupacabra. It's a catch-all word. So for goat sucker,
I saw one chupacabra down here in Oklahoma, and a ferry was riding it.
My thing is, okay, all right. Did he wink at you?
I barely caught it. It happened so fast, man.
Because the trans ferries that ride the chupacabra are extremely dangerous, and if they wink at you, you have like 20 years bad luck or something.
Oh God!
Crap.
Well,
like
this one's.
Don't we got to switch rooms here soon?
This one's genetically modified, so it had
yeah,
like
we should probably hang up here.
I'm gonna hang up.
Come right back.
You don't like.
I'll disconnect the call. Hold on, folks. I'm gonna bring us back here with more of the actual Censorship Sucks Roundtable radio show. What you doing, Barry? Here, I'm going to end this one and then start a new one.
The chupacabra.
Yeah. And folks, we'll be right back, and we're going to get the room set up, a new room set up where Brent Hamachek should be coming in with us later on tonight, and in the first hour, all right, of this their show. So I am going to bring them back right now, and join now. People's request, and there we go.
Okay, testing
right,
1 2.
And it's calling Brent right now.
Did I tell you that CS was just talking to me? Right before we came in this room, he said he wanted to start a brand new radio show based on the chupacabras.
That would not surprise me, because where he's at, it would be one of the only things that could keep Dog Man and Slender Man and all those other cryptic creatures that are really creepy away. And they would probably get along really well with Blue. Just saying, just saying. Is Brent in with us now?
No,
I don't think so. I'm sending him an email.
It's calling him. It's call dropped.
Maybe he's not there to take it yet.
No,
have you ever thought of?
He was there. It showed that he was live and ready to go.
Well, he might have been asking for this link too. I don't see him online in my. Well, I see him with just with a black dot next to his name. I don't know
I
what
got
that
him
means.
on a different one down here. It says. Oh, you do?
Well, it's just what I show when I go to the add people or whatever?
Well, if he comes in late, I'll just open up with you until he gets in.
Okay. But I just sent him the direct link through email, so he's got that going for him too.
I promise I'm not going to talk about the Chupacabra. That's for certain.
Well, he's game. Brent's, I'm sure, open to talk about, anything really. Hey.
As a joke, you should just ask him. And just a little bit off topic, Brent. What do you have to say about the Chupacabra? And see what he says.
Off topic, just on topic, man. This is just on point.
Yes, do it. You got to, man.
And you may not see it today, but you will in the next month or two. We're always a little bit ahead of the curve.
I want to hear his response.
Whoa, someone's waiting to join.
Yeah, I got him.
Brent.
That's why he
Okay.
came in as a guest instead of his other. There we go.
Hey,
Brent, how's it
Gotcha.
going?
Good. Yeah, I mean, I got the link. I clicked on the link. I was listening to you, but there wasn't any way to get in. So, wrong link.
Yeah, it puts you in a lobby that we have to bring you in, and we have to actually see that the notification for it is very small, and so it's easy to miss. So I apologize for that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think we're
started-
live yet.
We're starting
do
a
know
little
the
late, but for the radio side. So you got 30 seconds, and I'm going to bring you
Okay.
in. All right. But
Good deal.
we got it.
I don't think that's your typical drink that you usually have.
No, it's
That's
Fresca.
not a Fresca.
Pepsi Zero, Fresca, and lemonade all mixed together.
Oh,
All
wow.
right,
man.
here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you were live and on the radio side right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show for Wednesday night, August 13th, 2025. And tonight, in my ever quest to find intelligent people to have great conversations with, I have reached out to Brent Hamachek from Human Events. Brent, what's going on?
Well, your quest might be a little bit Don Quixote-like if you're tilting at windmills if you settled on me, but I'll do my best. I'm doing great. I'm at the top of my game, man.
Excellent. You look like it, man. You look like you're in good shape. You got some sun on your face.
Yeah, shoveling dog stuff out of the yard, I suppose. I don't know, but hey, it's summertime. We gotta look like it's summertime, right?
Exactly.
My natural look is kind of like Michelle Pfeiffer. I always used to think when I was younger and she was this big sex symbol, I would look at her in a movie and I would realize that she'd been in makeup for hours before she shot a scene and she still looked like a ghost. And I thought, wow, I wonder how terrifying she might be in real life. So I'm constantly trying to avoid the Michelle Pfeiffer look for what it's worth.
Okay. I didn't know that about her. I heard that about Cameron Diaz. Yeah.
Cameron Diaz, I suspect she looks good in any shade. So, but we'll leave it right there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. I don't want to get into things, rumors I've heard from people who've worked, in the industry with her in the past. But, we'll leave it at that. Let's get into one of the good things about having you on once a month is there's always plenty to talk about. There's a lot that happens over any given month,
Right. Yeah, there is.
And one of the things that I'm seeing pop up in the last few days up in Canada is they're doing these lockdowns up there. And we've talked before about environmental lockdowns. They had the COVID lockdowns, and the environmental ones are coming. Now they're saying that the risk of fire is so great in Nova Scotia and, a few other provinces up there that you can't go outside into the forest at all. You can't walk your dog. You can't fish. You can't do anything. And these poor souls up there, man, they live for those few summer months when it's just, beautiful up there.
Right.
You take that away from them, and what do they have left?
Right. Well, look, Canada's a pure socialist country, and socialism requires the imposition of blanket rules made by the few and cast upon the many. And once you start doing that, people always think, socialism sounds so ideal. You've got a opulent society, or certainly, a society better than, say, Mexico. And you say, look, we can do good things for people who struggle, and we can provide things for people that don't have things or don't have as much. And so you start down that path and everybody's on board. And then the next thing you know, the folks that have control for some things start to think about the things they can have control of next. This is a problem with human nature. And so Canada right now is a full-blown socialist country. They're certainly an authoritarian country, and they're teetering towards pure totalitarianism. And, these kinds of rules set up by the few against the many to protect the many from themselves are antithetical to everything about being an American, at least as we were founded, right? Not necessarily how we are today. And I don't know what to say about the folks up in Canada. This is a choice they've made, and they've made it repeatedly. And I hear all the time from Canadian friends, people here in the States who are Canadian expats, well, with our system of elections, it's the government's not really representative of the majority of the people. Nonsense. That's absolute drivel. If the people really wanted to reject this sort of cradle to grave mentality, they could simply vote overwhelmingly for the party that doesn't endorse it. But instead, they voted just the opposite for many, many decades. So far from feeling sorry from the lockdown Canadians, I would suggest they've done this to themselves, and perhaps maybe this will get them to rethink their joy with socialism. One can hope.
And okay, well, before we go to your disdain of Mexico, which I heard dripping from your voice as you mentioned them, I want to mention a C.S. Lewis quote here. It said, "Of all the tyrannies, a tyranny exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It may be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience." And I think that really hits on it. It's a tyranny for your own good.
Oh, look, there's no question about it. That's how it's sold to people, and that's how they buy it, right? Mm-hmm. And you can go anywhere you want with this. One of the great examples is it might sound silly and trivial to people at this point, so many years later, but seatbelt laws. They're a great example, right? So automotive manufacturers put seatbelts in cars. What a wonderful thing that someone can strap themselves in if they'd like to a high velocity piece of machinery that travels really fast on pavement. That's a great thing. And then what do? We say, wow, it really is a great idea that you do put that seatbelt on. Let's make it mandatory that you have those seatbelts on. Mm-hmm. And then not only is it mandatory, but let's make it so we can actually pull you over and we can check, if you have those seatbelts on. And people have gradually been led down this road. And of course, everybody would say it's a good idea to wear a seatbelt. But the pure, simple truth of it is that we're just simply being forced by law to protect ourselves from ourselves. So then let's go to the next argument. Well, but look at with our healthcare system. If somebody does get in an accident with the health insurance, then that has to be paid for by the masses. So we need to protect you from yourself because of this great healthcare system that's costly if you impose a burden upon it. Well, again, another socialist mechanism. A healthcare system that we're forced into, a healthcare system that's now completely and totally out of our control. And so all of these gradual things that seem to be for our own benefit, that are sold to people that way, not only grow and expand, but then they collide, right? And they start to intersect. And the next thing you know, you wake up one day and you say, I have very few individual choices I actually get to make anymore. And that's where Canada's been for a long time. And, we're just tracking right behind it. And I understand people's enthusiasm about the Trump administration and some of the things they're doing. But the idea that in 4 years he's going to necessarily be able to reverse that trend, I think that's a wee bit naive. You would need 4 years and 4 more years and 4 more years. And you would need it not just at the federal level, but you need it at state and local levels as well. So, but that is how people get sold this bill of goods about socialism.
Yeah. And so, okay, a while ago, you mentioned to me that if Al-Qaeda was running our southern border, they would probably be better neighbors in many respects than Mexico is today.
Yes.
And I'm seeing that, we're talking about sending some military down to the border, potentially across it in some degree, but to the border for sure, to stop a lot of this flow. And, what Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, is up in arms. You will not cross our borders. You will not. But if you're running that, Barry and I were talking about it on Sunday night. If you're running that inept of a government, if we were in Detroit and we just realized that the state, the country, no one's doing a damn thing about all the fentanyl that is flowing out of Canada, and Canada decided to bomb some, lab in downtown Detroit, we would all put up our hands and say, wow, it's probably a good thing they did it. We wouldn't see it as an act of war per se. So I don't know. Where do you think this is going to go? How quickly can this all escalate?
Well, this is, Trump's got his meeting coming up with Putin in Alaska on Friday, and all eyes are on it. I'm not sure what'll happen. I'm not expecting the magic that so many people are convinced of. I'm not convinced either, by the way, that Putin is some sort of, I don't know, the conspiracy thought is that Putin's been in on helping correct all the evils of what happened in Ukraine, and there's a master plan for all this. Okay, whatever. I'm not on board with that. So all eyes are on Trump and Putin. I would suggest to you that from a foreign policy perspective, and this is just simply my opinion, looking at the entire world, everything that's going on everywhere, and what matters to us, because I really don't care what matters to France, with all due respect to the French folks. This is his biggest test from a foreign policy perspective. And this is where all the tough rhetoric that he likes to use, he's really good at calling Chuck Schumer names and all other happy nonsense. Good for him. And hates on Republicans that don't, vote the way he'd like with his judges. All that's fine. Let's see how tough he is by how he deals with Mexico. Because this is a country that let's just kind of be clear about some stuff. And I get it that Americans like to go there and vacation. Good for them. Love them. God love them. But if they could set aside their love for resorts and look at this country objectively, as a nation state, you can easily argue it's one of the most failed nation states in the entire globe. And it might be the most failed nation state of consequence, meaning given its size, its proximity to us, given the fact that it's had the opportunity to take advantage of all the protection that comes isolated by two oceans and the United States sitting up above it, what has it been able to achieve over the last couple hundred years? Here's a short list. They've been able to export drugs. They've been able to export weapons. They've been able to export human beings and have them trafficked. They've been able to do that great. And they're really good at assembling things that we create and send to them to assemble. That's it. That is
tequila.
Well, yeah, there you go. Well, shame on me, I forgot. So this is a failed nation state by any measure. It's a failed nation state of great consequence. I have said for a long time, I say it unapologetically, that, and I'm not a guy that likes the United States intervening militarily anywhere. So I'm not a hawk in the sense that, a guy like Lindsey Graham is, who wants us to invade every country on the planet and pay the defense contractors while we do it. But I do think we not only should invade Mexico, we have to invade Mexico. I also think that while we're there, we ought to give some serious thought to doing what nation states used to do. And we ought to think really hard about just simply taking it over. Oh, the world would have indigestion for about a decade. They'd get over it. The world always gets over it. This is a country that is not our friend. They are unable to govern themselves. That's just a fact, right? They can't govern themselves. Enough. It's time for us, at a minimum, to invade militarily. We know where all the drug cartels are. We know where all the drug fields are. We know all this stuff. So we need to go in with our military. We need to slaughter all sorts of bad people. And after we've done that, we can decide what we want to do next. Now, I don't get a vote, so nobody panic. But, like everything else we talk about on your show, I don't feel strongly about it. But those are some random thoughts.
Yeah, well, okay, that kind of came out of left field. I know you, as I mentioned, when you mentioned Mexico in the first segment about Canada, there was quite a bit of disdain in your voice. I didn't realize quite how deep that went.
It's deep. It's deep. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of America pussyfooting around with this thoroughly rogue nation to our south that doesn't do what it's told. You understand, mind you, that if the Mexican army had to defend itself against an invasion from, I don't know, Haiti, it would last all of about 5 minutes. This is not a country that is strong in any way. They exist. They literally exist because of oceans and us. They owe us their existence. They ought to do what they're told, and they don't. The reason Al-Qaeda would behave better on our southern border is that Al-Qaeda, a recognized enemy, knows that we would attack them if they did something. They would know that. Mexico says, we can do whatever we want. The United States won't do anything to us. And they're right. And they are. And I think that the American people need to be a lot more outraged and find new places to go on vacation.
And I'll tell you, if you look at a map of Baja California, the Baja Peninsula, I think it would take the U.S. Army probably about 20 minutes to just put up a new border fence right there and just take that whole peninsula.
Right.
It'd be relatively simple to do that. And then suddenly you've got a place to run out your operations from all the way up and down pretty much the west coast of Mexico. So interesting thought. I don't know. We'll have to see where that goes. But
you and your audience know that I'm not some, sort of reflexive Trump supporter, right? I'm not the guy doing the commercials for Donald Trump. I like some things he does, and there's things I don't like, and I'm happy to talk about either one. If he invades Mexico militarily, I will get a Trump for third term T-shirt. I will get Trump paraphernalia and wear it everywhere I go. He will have my full-throated support. And whatever else he does and screws up, I won't care. Because I think we really need to do something about Mexico. The moment's now.
And my best guesstimate is that, we'll have troops on the border, but those troops will probably have some drones. And any, factories for drug production that are within, say, 40 miles, 50 miles of the border will be sitting ducks. So it may not involve troops on the ground, but certainly drones in the air over Mexico taking out their drug labs. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to do something along those lines. They've got storage facilities. They've got all kinds of infrastructure that's right over the border there, preparing to come into the United States. And so I see taking that out as low-hanging fruit. But then troops on the ground down into the interior of Mexico, that's a harder pill to swallow. Let's see where that goes,
Right. Time will tell. And I just think it's a big test. I think we need to do something about this. And just having stricter border crossing, that isn't enough. It just isn't enough. You can always find your way around or through something. And Trump's made a big difference with the security at our border. And that's terrific. That's one of the things he's done that I'm very much in support of. So he's making a big difference at the border. Good for him. Now I just think he needs to go further. Let's go inside and clean up the mess.
Okay, so on another note, still Trump related though, how often do you go to Washington, D.C.?
Quite a bit.
I would imagine you do. And so what's it like on the ground out there? Is it a safe, beautiful city that I'm hearing from all these people on the left, or is it the, hellhole that requires the National Guard to go clean up?
Well, it's like every other big city in that sense, right? The places
Yeah.
where I stay, I don't
Yep.
stay at the Kimpton, but I also don't stay in bad neighborhoods either. The crime
Mhm.
statistics are pretty telling, and so the city is like Chicago, it is like New York, it is like Memphis, it is like New Orleans, right? It's got areas that are just simply out of control. And the difference between DC and New York, Chicago, New Orleans, Memphis, St. Louis, the difference is that Trump has every right to take control of it. And so I think giving it a try isn't a bad idea. I can tell you, I was out in Washington last week, a week and a half ago, and I sat outside my hotel room at night with a Pepsi Zero, relaxing, literally watching rats play along the curb, which is interesting. So I think some of the cleaning up they need in Washington, some of the rats are on 2 legs and some are on 4. But look, he's got every right to do this. 2 things to keep in mind. One is that last time I checked, the federal government doesn't run anything well. So the idea that because the federal government takes it over, it will get better, it might, but let's not, expect to check the boxes on efficiency and effectiveness, because that's just not what the federal government does. Hope this is an exception, right? And it's not like Trump's going to have the time to personally run it himself. The other thing is the federal government taking over Washington, D.C. today, that's fine. But Trump will be out of office in January of 2029. Don't know who will replace him. If it's a Democrat, somebody like Joe Biden, they may just give it back, or worse, maybe they'll run it the way they envision the whole world should be run. And but all things considered, this is something Trump's doing that, for me, I kind of shrug my shoulders. I say, well, we'll see how it works, but at least he has every right to do it. Yeah. So we'll see.
One of the talking points of that is, okay, he's doing this now, but he couldn't do it on January 7th, right? And are you familiar with the differences between those 2 scenarios and why he couldn't do anything then and he can now for DC?
Well, it's likely one of the dumbest remarks in the history of dumb remarks, right? That argument is made. I mean, first of all, the whole January 6th thing has been fully unpacked, and we know now that sort of at every level, Trump's biggest mistake that he made on January 6th. I don't think he made any before January 6th, but it was the sort of 3 hours that he was sitting silent, right? That was a mistake. I don't think there was anything nefarious about it. I think it was just a mistake. He made a bad decision. But with regard to preventive security, with regard to the use of the National Guard, these were things that the Speaker of the House should have been attending to prior. We know she wasn't. All the information is out there. So this whole thing about Trump doing this now and not doing it then, it's just one of those things. It's Orwellian almost. The whole thing is just like a lie manufactured so that people will hear it. And if it gets repeated enough by, I don't know, ABC News and on social media platforms, they think the regular American citizen will buy it. They might, by the way, they might buy it. The American people are known to buy bad goods.
If Jamie Oliver tells it to them in a good enough joke, then they'll believe it, right? It's kind of how it works now.
That's the tragedy of it. But this is just simply not that. It isn't. And to bring up the January 6th thing now with everything we know, right? and all of the video that's been brought together and assembled and so on. Look, DC Police, Capitol Police, they did let these folks in the building. That's actually not a controversial statement. They let them in. And,
you pretty much need a tank to get those doors open otherwise,
I mean, and then January 6th, people did stupid things too, scaling the side of the building. And like, what is somebody thinking? So,
well,
it was
a lot of them were in Antifa plants and whatnot, but and the bottom line here is that the Speaker of the House controls, what happens on the Capitol, and Donald Trump controls what happens in the city of Washington D.C. So, but anyway, folks, we've got to go to break. We'll be right back with more from Brent Hamachek of HumanEvents.com.
All right, we're on radio break.
All right.
I felt like Willie there when I was taking us to break. You wanted to say, no, like, were you trying to correct something I said?
Or not me.
Oh, okay.
At all.
Willie always does that to me in this segment. Like, when I'm trying to go to break, he'll be like, hey, I'm not done. Hey.
Oh, my God.
We have fun with it. But I'm not done.
I'm always just happy to be here.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you on, bro. I like watching you age 1 month at a time.
Yeah, I'm kind of like the village idiot. I just kind of show up and have fun.
And one day increments.
Need a little jester hat on with like a little ringing ball at the top.
Sure. Put you on the road with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be interesting. Charlie and I would have some extraordinarily fun debates these days on a whole host of topics.
Enjoy
it.
I want to tell you, CS, and I don't know if Barry remembers him or not. Remember Joe Samia from Australia that did shows with us?
Yeah.
Well,
the karate guy.
I found, he was a funny guy and did radio and that. I found out recently that he passed away from cancer last year. That's why we haven't seen or heard from him in a while. Yeah, and
the martial arts guy. He was like,
yeah,
and from Perth.
Yep.
He came on and talked about the lockdowns out there.
Yeah.
Man, no, that sucks.
Yeah, and he passed away of cancer. He was like one of Wobbly's folks. He did a lot of cuts and helped him along too. Getting him out as well. And Wobbly's in chat right now, so
he helped us. He did the vocals on that Monster Mash thing. He took the Fauci jab. The Fauci jab.
Joe did that?
It was a graveyard smash.
I didn't know Joe did that.
If it's the guy I'm thinking of, he did.
I thought our David Hogg from Mines did that.
No, it was a collaboration, but he did the actual voice in it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. I still have all that. Wobbly, if you want that, I'll send that to you.
You took the
probably tomorrow sometime.
Job.
So you can keep it in your records too. He said that we're coming through nice and clear, and that's good.
Excellent.
Yeah. Looks like all the streams are going really good. Brent, I did start streaming the raw streams on YouTube now, so if you want to send folks there, I'll give you a link. Do you want the link now, or do you want it after the show? I know folks...
after the show. I'm too late to do anything with it in the moment.
Well, next month then.
I don't have any friends anyway, so I need to think of 6 people to bother. But I'd love to be able to share it.
Yeah, I know it's probably easier for your folks to look at it from there than some of the other platforms that we're on, unless you want to tell them to just go to my Facebook page or something like that. Because
they don't exactly promote us in the algorithm, though.
Huh?
They don't exactly promote us in the algorithm.
No, they don't. But we do have folks that do tune in because they know us, and that's good.
Yeah.
We got about 30 seconds, and then we'll be back.
I did send you that link already. You should have it in your inbox.
That's it. Yeah, I do. I've got it. Yep.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
the
you
one
can save that for later and let folks know. I don't take down raw archives ever, and this show, the edit for this won't go up there though, because they don't like the copywritten music on it. So.
Got it.
But they'll get to hear all the banter like we're talking right now. You know, in between.
Hey, Brent, anything
and
you want
good.
to?
3, 2,
anything specific you
1,
want to? Okay.
and you're live right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. Wednesday night edition for August 13th, 2025. With me tonight, I've got the fabulous Brent Hamachek from humanevents.com. Brent, how's everything going over there at Human Events?
Everything's plugging along. Nothing really special to report. I think that we'll have some special things to report soon. Maybe by the time I see you after Labor Day. Labor Day, by the way, being so early this year, as early as it can be, September 1st. Summer comes to an unceremonious fast close for us. But anyway, things are good. And, it's you always ask about Common Ground Campus. I'll share that
I was just about to, you took the words right out of my mouth.
We're excited. We've got an event coming up on September 23rd at Rollins College down in the Orlando area. So we're looking forward to that, working with the students right now on the topic. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. And so we're looking forward to that to kick off the new semester.
And when I introduce you, I should do like all the TV networks do and say he's also the author of the fabulous book, Dissidently Speaking. You always got to get the plug for the book in there. Dissonantly Speaking by Brent Hamachek. Folks, go check that out. It's not a huge book, but it took me a while to digest the whole thing. It's really good. I used to read a lot of fiction, Stephen King, Michael Crichton, stuff like that, where you open the book in the morning and you're probably going to finish it by the time you go to bed. Yours is not such a book, my friend. Yours is one where you want to kind of take notes. In fact, you tell the reader to take everything I just read, or you just read, and think about it for a couple days and go off on sabbatical and sit in the woods and meditate on it, and then come back and read the next chapter when you've got your head around it.
I had a fun experience with that book. As you know, I'm quite elderly, and I just went to my 45th high school reunion, where I ran into a classmate, a lady who I have not seen in 45 years. And so it was nice to catch up. And in the context of that, talking about what she does and what I do, and shared, about writing books and things. She shared with me that the next day she was chatting with her son, who lived down in Texas, and her son's a teacher. And, she was telling him about seeing me, and he said, "Wait a minute, what's the guy's name?" And she told him, and he said, I bought his book when it came out, and I've been using it in my teaching for the past year. And I thought that was kind of neat. First of all, that the book was being used that way, but what a great small world story, right? He had no idea who I was or that I had gone to school with his mom, and it was just a pure coincidence.
Yeah, and any poli-sci, professor, just instructor in a high school setting, it doesn't need to be college, can use a lot of the concepts in your book to break down politics into more managed ways so that people can start seeing that, it's not the enemy. The other side of the aisle is not necessarily my enemy. In most cases, people agree on way more than they disagree on. And it's just, I don't know, it really taught me a different way to look at the political landscape. Right. So I thank you for that, sir.
Well, thank you for the kind words. And that's everything the Common Ground Campus program is about. I mean, if we hadn't started the program, and if my partner hadn't been such a genius, I never would have thought to write the book. So so much of the inspiration for it came from, well, let me put it this way. It's interesting. So you start a program where you're trying to get college students to engage with one another more constructively. And the program starts and you watch it happen and it's working. And then you step back and you say, wait a minute, everybody ought to be doing this. And why wasn't I doing a better job of it all the way along? You know? And so it's almost ironic that being involved in starting a program about, you know, constructive dialogue and so on made me realize that I needed to do better at constructive dialogue. So it's had a profound effect on my attitude about how I engage other people and how I look at things. And you know, I think asking questions is the key. I've said it before on your show. I'll say it again because it's one of my favorite own original lines, and that is, you know, the two people you could argue who have made the biggest difference in human history, one on the secular side and one on the religious side, were Socrates and Jesus Christ. And they have two things in common. First of all, they both died for their actions. But the other part is, which is a little bit better, is that they changed the course of history by asking questions. And so I think that asking thoughtful questions of people, and almost more importantly than asking questions, is giving a damn about the answers. You really have to give a damn about the answers they give. And you have to listen, and you have to figure out, now that I've learned this about someone, what do I do with it? And how do I use it to reach them more constructively?
Yeah, most political debates, they don't listen to the other person at all. They're just formulating the response in their head while the other person's talking. And it just doesn't lead anywhere good. And then, you know, suddenly it backfires on them. And what comes next? Ad hominems, you know?
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, that's all that happens. And that's what happens in our politics. You know, one of the things that troubles me so much about Donald Trump, and, you know, he's got apologists everywhere. And even Bill O'Reilly's become an apologist for him. And, you know, they say, well, you don't like his style, but look at what he's doing. And that's just who he is. And okay, whatever. But the problem is that the substance of the things that he's trying to do gets lost on so many people because of the tone he takes and the way he calls people's names, and instantly going, you know, to the personal insults, all of it. And, you know, that's, you know, I could say that, oh, I don't like that or whatever. But the truth is, on a more important level, forget what I like or don't like, overall, long term, it reduces his effectiveness. And that is sad because I think much of what he's trying to do, not all of it, but much of it is very good.
Exactly. If you're not on Team Trump, you just find it insulting. But if you are, you kind of find it funny after a while. Like you're like, okay, great, you know, whatever. But you're right. It probably does more damage than good because it's harder to convince those people to come back over the fence once they get solidified in the, God, he's foul mouthed and horrible. I hate the guy, you know?
Right. Well, when the only people that love something you do are people that love you anyway, you have to just ask yourself, am I good with that? And I think in your personal life, you know, I guess I'm, again, quite elderly. And so if I want to say or do something and the only people that really love it are the 4 people that love me, or 3, whatever it might be, well, I guess that's okay. But if you're trying to shape the course of history and change a nation and bring it around, well, then you need more people to cheer for what you're saying and doing than just the people that were already going to cheer. And that's the longer game.
Yeah, yeah. And I will say that by calling yourself quite elderly over and over, you're kind of like bringing down the mojo between my producer and my co-host, because they're not too far on your tails here, nor myself, mister.
Right. Yeah. But a good deal of those years I put behind me, I lived quite hard. So I've aged, you know, my standard line now, people say, how old are you? And I say, I'm 87. And they're like, oh my God, you look great for 87. Of course, I'm nowhere near close to 87, tragedy as they believe it. And then tell me I look real good for an 87-year-old.
All right. Anyway, let's get into finance a little bit, because, you know, I know you've got a background in banking. And the Federal Reserve is just stubborn lately. They're just sitting at 4.5% on the discount rate, and that needs to come down. I'm thinking Trump has been screaming bloody murder for it. If you were the head of the Federal Reserve, would you cut rates next month by 0.5%, a full percent, a quarter, or would you sit still and just wait for some potential fallout from tariffs that might come back to haunt us with higher inflation down the road?
Well, on some level, I can't answer the question because I don't have all of the data that the chairman of the Federal Reserve has. I would say this, that if I were chairman of the Federal Reserve, one thing I would not do is listen to the president. It's not my job.
Okay.
In fact, it's my job to not listen to the president. And I think that Trump's attack on the Fed chairman, all of his public attacks, again, personal insults, the whole bit, I think they're way out of line. It has nothing to do with agreeing or disagreeing with him. It has to do with the fact that this thing was established, for the purpose of conducting monetary policy independent of the actions and orders of the executive branch. So I don't like it when he goes after it. In terms of our economic footings and where we are and what to do, understanding that we just came out of an extraordinary period, not historically, but extraordinary in terms of the recent past of inflation, the idea of being in a hurry to lower rates doesn't seem like something I would be inclined to do necessarily, right? Interesting. It's too much to go into on your show. I'd put the audience to sleep. But for people who want to study it, they should understand how interest rates impact the actual creation of the money supply. And so in any case, I don't think right now, given all of the various sort of instabilities and uncertainties in our economy, I don't know that holding rates as a constant in this moment is some sort of great negative. I don't know that easy money is something that's necessarily needed. I know why Trump wants it. That's obvious. You lower rates, you get a lot more borrowing activity very, very quickly. And he wants the appearance of the economy being super strong, healthy, growing, robust. And when I say appearance of it, you say, well, wait a minute. Is an appearance of it actually happening? It is. But in the moment. And so, but we all know the consequences of it necessarily happening too fast and having it happen because of easy money. So I guess long-winded non-answer to your question, I will say this in concluding my non-answer. I'll reiterate. I do not that in this moment, holding steady interest rates is something that is necessarily bad or good. It might just be fine while we see where things are going. And at historical levels, they're very, very low, right? It's not, this isn't 1981, for God's sake. The screaming about interest rates is sort of silly, given historical levels. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I hear a lot about that, so I just wanted to get your take on it. Because, I mean, we're paying, $1 trillion in interest on our debt right now, a year. It's mind-boggling. That's, 20% of our budget, of the revenue we take in, and then we have to go borrow another 1.8 trillion on top of all that just to keep the lights on. And so is this even sustainable? What can we do to get out of this, Brent? It's like, it seems like Doge ended up doing nothing. I see why Musk is so pissed. He did all that work, and where's the savings? Where's the bottom line going down,
Right. Well, here's the sad part. There were savings, and the numbers, when you look at the numbers by themselves, appear to be, as numbers, significant. But the further problem is, weighed against the size of our annual spending in the size of our national debt, the numbers are virtually insignificant. And, you know, the Doge process, that's a tragedy in 50 different ways. You know, I said on your show, I think we've talked about in these last months, but, you know, leading up to the election, I used to say one of the reasons to vote for Trump was that you'd get Elon. And I meant that. And like I said on your show before, I want a do-over on that one, because I didn't anticipate just how poorly he would conduct himself. They did everything wrong. Trump should have gotten elected. Elon should have gone to work. They should have been methodical. They should have kept quiet. They should have shared some sort of just a standard periodic report, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it was, indicating various findings and various solutions and so on. Instead, they came at it like children. They played with social media to out people in programs and try to make everything look glorious, held up chainsaws, argued with one another. This is not how statecraft needs to be done. And, you know, Trump's a smart guy. Elon's a smart guy. They, in my mind, together just simply didn't act like smart guys. They could have, you know, our slogan in Common Ground Campus is do better. They could have both done better. And the nation suffers for it as a result.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I see why Musk got ticked off, though. When, you know, we were talking about it on the show one night, and I'm like, yeah, you know, if I had gone through all that, it was, you know, put everything on hold, pissed off my entire client base, and all these other things. Oops, Barry, I suddenly picked up a feedback from you. Are you muted?
Yeah, we're doing the show from the Grand Canyon all of a sudden.
Yeah. All right. Looks like you corrected it. Yeah, but anyway, let's. Pardon me. I'm fighting off a little bit of a cold.
Take quercetin and zinc. That's all I can tell you.
I want to bring, you know, in the final minutes we have this back over to Europe a little bit. It seems like we've seen a lot of protests in front of these migrant hotels in the UK. And like there's been an awakening, you know, and it's spreading like wildfire, it seems. We're seeing it kick up in Spain as well, with a lot of street fighting going on between the Spanish people and the, you know, African migrants that are very, very active in that area. Are we at a turning point for Europe?
Look, great question. And it's like two in a row I'm bailing on in terms of saying I'm able to answer it. I do have some points to consider. And that is, and, you know, I've been doing the show with you for a long time, and we've been talking about it for a very long time, and Europe comes up. And so what Europe did, well ahead of the United States, is allowed for a mass, uncontrolled influx of people who did not share their history, culture, and values. Now, it's not to say anything about the history and culture and values they brought. That can be debated separately. But it wasn't common to the European way. People were overwhelmed by it. And then a funny thing happened, and that is all these countries in Europe that all are socialist and very, very, you know, varying levels, started to have to pay for all these things. And so then people say, okay, there's a bunch of folks here, and they don't really seem to have the same sort of ideas that I have. They actually just came here. They're not really citizens, and I'm paying for a bunch of stuff for them. And we saw a backlash against it here in the United States in the 2024 elections. You're seeing it in Europe. And so you say, is it a turning point? I don't know, because here's the thing to think about. And we've talked about this in the context of the United States. And that is, so people get frustrated. Like, I went to an event here in Chicagoland several months ago, and they had folks on a panel from the city of Chicago. They had a black panel, of folks that were activists, community people, and the same kind of people or panel of Hispanic people. And those two different panels at that event were complaining very much about all of the illegal immigrants that have been let into the city. And the crux of both arguments were they are taking over all our social services, our community centers, our hospital waiting rooms, all these things. This is in Europe, it's the same kind of backlash, right? Here's what it doesn't necessarily mean. It doesn't necessarily mean these socialist countries want to change. It just means they want their own stuff back and being paid for, right? So is Europe at a turning point? It may well be at a turning point, and likely is on some level in terms of just letting folks wander in. Is it at a turning point philosophically in terms of going back to principles of individual liberty and personal responsibility? Who knows? My prediction would be is doubtful given my thoughts about human nature. But so we will see. You need time to have it play out.
It's funny to see what Labor and the Tories, the two major parties over there, just falling apart, literally falling apart, and Reform and some other party on the left just taking it all up, sucking up all that old school. It's like a big change over there. And the fact that, these two, it's like if the Democrat Party and the Republican Party were no longer the two parties anymore. And we came up with a new MAGA party, i.e. Reform, and then a Green Party or whatever, which would suck up all the far lefts. You know what I mean? All the Ilhan Omars and whatnot of the world, AOC, Bernie Sanders. So that, from that perspective, I find it really fascinating to just watch those two parties disintegrate. I don't know. Is that significant, really, or how's that going to play out?
Well, parties can seem to disintegrate anywhere, anytime, but they don't actually disintegrate, do they? Because what really happens is they have internal trouble. They have problems on a national level with voters, with their policies. They fall into extraordinary disfavor. You can look at the incredible run Democrats had in controlling the non-executive branch of government, in the middle, through the middle to later part of the 20th century. And you could say the Republican Party fell apart. Well, depending on how you define it, they may have. It looks that way. I mean, certainly had a hell of a bad run for several decades, but here they are, right? They control the Senate, they control the presidency, and so on. So these things go ebbs and flows. The parties are not going to go away in Great Britain, and whatever realignment we see in the moment, the question always is it sustainable? Here's my favorite statistic as we get ready to run out of time. I did this when I spoke to a group down in Georgia this past December. Everybody thrilled about the Trump election. That's great. They were thrilled, good to be. And they were comparing him to Ronald Reagan and excited about this. This was a new day in America. I gave them a fun statistic that if you went back 100 years to the last 26 presidential elections, the score after Trump's win was 13-13. So, and people in the room, they went, they gasped. They just really couldn't quite imagine that. So, before we ever look at a event or happenings or what's going on in the moment, we have to be mindful of what is going to sustain, if anything. Will a trend come out of this that actually reflects a nation's fundamental change in some particular direction? So we'll see. But when you comment on these things in the moment, like so many people want to do, it's foolishness. It's a data point along a regression line. You don't know if it's going to change the direction of the line.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for our time. Brent, it's always a pleasure to have you on, man. I'm really looking forward to next month already, I got to say. It's it's great. So thanks so much. This is Brent Hamachek from humanevents.com, the executive publisher over there nowadays.
Vice President, Associate Publisher, if I read my business card correctly, but I don't have my reading glasses on.
Okay, yeah, vice president over there. You're one of the big dogs in the chain over there. You always seem to land near the top of the pile, so that's good for you. And again, so happy to have you on. Folks, go check out Brent over at humanevents.com, humanevents.com. Thanks so much for coming out. We'll see you next month. Everyone else, stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Great job, guys.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
That was okay, guys.
Yeah.
That was fantastic, my man.
I'm gonna let this one run out, and then once it does, I'll call you back on the
Okay.
same one. All right.
Which means we got about 2 minutes left. So
I got about
guys-
2.5 or something like that. Take care,
Yeah.
Brent.
All
Also, Brent, I'll be calling back on this again, so when you see the call, just ignore it. All right?
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Always
right, take
always
care.
great having you back in.
All right. See you soon. Bye.
All right, bye. Barry, you
And
there?
let's see. Well, I had to mute him. He was echoing a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, I think he turned his mic on or something and just echoed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. I was trying just to adjust the volume to hear you, and maybe it unmuted the mic on the. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, no big deal.
I immediately, once you said something,
I'll
you
try
know.
to clean it up in the after show.
Yeah.
No
Not
big
the
deal.
after
It's-
show, but,
Been doing that anyway. It's because is it doing it right now?
no.
So that shouldn't have been. Yeah, that shouldn't have done that.
What could be, it could have been feeding back through your speakers that way. I don't know.
Something I don't know. It's weird. I And it freaked me out because I was like, well, it's just like it always is. Why is that feeding back?
Yeah.
Did you mute my mic though?
Yeah, he did.
I did, yeah.
Okay, good.
So I wasn't sure if you were there or not. I just figured I'd mute you really quick. And
At first, I just listened to it live on my Roku streaming because I was doing work in the kitchen. I was taking photos for eBay stuff, and I was listening to it really loud. But that second time that it fed back, that wasn't even on, so it wasn't from that. Because what I was trying to do was, there was a delay, like a 2-minute delay, on the broadcast that I had on Roku versus the one. So I had to come back to the room to figure out when it actually ended.
Gotcha. Well, I see we have about 4 seconds left here, so I'm going to hang up.
Okay. I'll get that going here in just a sec. All right.
4 seconds, huh? Do we have 4 seconds? We have 15 minutes.
Something like that. No, not on my end. We got like
I know, I'm
less than a minute to go. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm gonna end this and then bring us all back. All right.
Flat Earth, man, flat Earth.
Flat Earth. Yeah, right.
Did I get that?
All right, folks. We'll be right back. Stand by. I'm gonna bring the crew right back in, and we got. Yeah, there we go. Do 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 do.
A ring-a-linga, a 2, a ring-a-ding-a-linga, a 3, a ring-a-ding-a-linga.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Something like that.
You don't remember that, dude? That's from Saturday Night Live. One ring-a-ding-a-linga from the old school with I can't even think of her name. She
Gilder
passed away.
Adner.
Yeah, she passed away
A
quite
while back.
early. Yeah, I don't know what her age was, but she was young.
I think she was in her late 40s, early 50s, something like that.
Hmm.
There we go.
Oh.
I could do it. Let me see if I can do it in the female voice, and maybe that'll sound better. I want to ring
No, sorry, wrong person. It wasn't Gilder. It was Lily Tomlin, and Lily is still alive, I believe.
No, it was Gilder. Was it? Okay.
Lily Tomlin
did what?
did the phone thing always.
Want a ring-a-ding-a-linga?
Yeah.
It's not doing it.
One a ring a ding a linga, two a ring a ding a linga, a three a ding a ling a linga. I sound more like the chipmunks than I do a female.
Then we go to this voice, and it's like, whoa, dude.
Ha ha ha. Wobbly would know. You know, he.
All right, so Barry, let's do that Wednesday night. Take that voice, and you're going to be a whistleblower
Wednesday
from
night?
Willie's Worm Farm. Sunday night.
Okay.
You'll be a whistleblower from Willie's Worm Farm, and you're just going to talk about how decrepit, how nasty the living conditions are for the worms
Oh, absolutely.
and the crickets. Yeah, people for the ethical treatment of insects.
The way he treats the insects is inhumane. I saw him one time. He didn't know I saw him. I was hiding behind the wall, and he was literally delimbing the crickets one by one. It's horrifying. I couldn't believe what I saw with my eyes. The poor he left the crickets alive with no legs, and all I did was sit there and flop around. I had to go over there and do something about it. I didn't want to take them out and kill them, but I did because it was just they were suffering so miserably.
Yeah. It will be Demonize Willie Week.
That guy. Oh my God.
James
that guy.
O'Keefe is going to release it all.
You should be James O'Keefe, and I'll be the whistleblower. You know.
I don't know if I can necessarily be James O'Keefe, but
Well,
we can.
the prototype. You know, he's the the James O'Keefe type character.
This is going to be released all tomorrow. An expose.
Oh yeah, man! Everybody needs to tune in for certain because it's going to be a groundbreaking episode.
Mm-hmm. Undercover footage, the whole 9 yards of Willie's Worm Farm.
Willie is a monster. He's an absolute monster.
He's got George Soros on speed dial.
I was afraid to testify because one time he told me that if I ever said anything, he would come after my family.
This will be fun. We'll just pull this on Willie out of nowhere, and it'll be fun.
Oh, he'll roll with it too, though.
Oh yeah,
Willie.
Yeah.
Willie.
Hey,
Willie will
this
probably
man's a
think
liar.
it's Hansel.
But like,
you need
Don't
to introduce me
blame Hansel
as if like a prestigious and credible whistleblower from high up, you know.
you can even do something like, I came around and he looked at me and he said, "Get out of here, Hansel." I mean, whistleblower. Like, wait a minute, is that Hansel? That's Hansel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the whistleblower's Hansel? Maybe. We would have to have Hansel come for that.
Or just,
he'd have, when the voice was no longer disguised, we'd have to bring Hansel.
Just somehow, like, say something about how he made fun of your lederhosen and just constantly.
Lederhosen? What's that?
Yeah. Like the pants they wear. It was like the German
30 seconds,
pants,
guys.
like the
kind of like overalls, maybe.
Sort of. If you go to picture Beer Fest in Germany.
Oh, yeah, they're like one. It's like a bodysuit. One.
Mm-hmm.
There's no.
Yeah, and they wear like the little shorts over it with the.
Here's your countdown.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're live right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hour 2 of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. With me this hour, I've either got a big upgrade or a big downgrade, depending on who you ask. Bullhorn Barry is with me.
It's unknown. It all depends on the person, right? It's
I think if I asked you, you'd say it's a big downgrade. If I asked Brent, he'd say it's a huge upgrade.
yeah, we put on our false humility quite well.
But you know darn well you're an improvement, right?
I'm in competition with no one but myself, trying to do better each week.
I kid, Brent. Brent is a great man, and it's always a pleasure to have him on. And what insightful thought. I mean, he's got me going for like an invasion of Mexico all of a sudden.
I was going to say when I was listening to that, I was like, man, I didn't know he was so hung-go over that. And he said he'd basically, start wearing a Trump shirt and praising
Third
Trump.
term.
Yeah, Trump 2028 shirt and cap. I'm really.
Oh boy, as it stands today, he'd have to lose a pretty big bet to put on a 2028 shirt. As would I, quite frankly. But to see Brent say that he'd immediately don one, that's kind of funny. And it's just got me thinking about like, forget Canada. Let's make Mexico the 51st state, right? I'd love to be able to just shoot down there. No passports, none of that crap. Just drive right over the border. No stopping on it. Just have at it.
There'd be no need for illegal immigration because it would just be one giant America.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it'd be an interesting proposition because we'd see. You think you're seeing crime now? It'd be a wave, right? We'd have to fight that off, push it back, stabilize everything, get everybody back in their groove, and then I don't know, maybe it's free passage down there for us but not for them up here. I don't know. You lost the war, buddy.
It is shocking that the cartel have gotten away with what they've been able to get away with for so long, and I feel sorry for the people that have been in the areas where they basically run things. You know what I'm saying? It would just be horrifying and scary to live. I'm sure a lot of people they move away when they move in, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And yet I've seen so many travel documentaries and whatnot about going down and, running the whole coast of both sides of the coast of Mexico. And, never an issue, never thought about any of it. There's Ben Jamin is one guy who did an entire series going all the way through South America. It took him years, and up through Central America and Mexico. And, to this day, he says Mexico's hands down the most beautiful country I've ever seen. Like, it's just, if I could go anywhere, it'd be Mexico.
Wow.
Right. And he's from the UK.
And how did he travel? Was it a motorcycle?
He's got a channel on YouTube called Combi Life, KOMBILIFE. So he has a old Volkswagen bus, as they call it, Combi, right? And he did all kinds of things to it. He had to rebuild the engine 10 times or something over the course of 5 years, and just on and on. It's a crazy good series, and he's still out there making them. It's just not quite what it used to be because he's over in Europe, and Europe is boring.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's any time better than I can't think of any time better to do some traveling than during the shamdemic, during that period, maybe slightly before and a little bit after. Just getting away from the chaos. I think it was like a great idea, and perhaps that kind of spawned the nomad movement even bigger than it used to be. It was a pretty big movement already.
Oh yeah, sales of RVs went through the roof during that period. I mean, their prices went. It was crazy. But anyway, it's I don't disagree with them that Mexico probably would be a worse neighbor than the Taliban, basically because they have no fear of us. The Taliban would. And what have we done about it? Absolutely nothing. But I like my idea of just taking Baja, though. That'd be easy peasy. We could do that in a day and just make it all not part of California, but a 51st state, whatever. I don't know how you'd territory, make it like Guam, I don't know, or Puerto Rico. But that'd be nice. The Baja's beautiful down there. It's stunning. It's just such a great contrast of desert and crystal blue oceans, with cactus sitting right there on the shore. It's incredible. But anyway, let's get back up into Canada here. I was talking to Brent about it a little bit, but let's bring everybody else up to speed. This is a clip from the, I want to say the Prime Minister of Nova Scotia. Let's hear it.
me going for a walk in the woods is going to cause a fire. I can understand why people think that that's ridiculous. But the reality is, it's not that you might cause a fire. It's that if you're out there walking in the woods and you break your leg, we're not going to come and get you, because we have emergency responders that are out focused on fire that is threatening the lives of New Brunswickers. And if you take your boat out fishing in a pond in Crown Land and you capsize, we're not going to be able to come and help you out, because our first responders are focused on an immediate and serious threat to our province. And so it's the possibility of diverting emergency resources away from where they are really needed.
Okay. So basically, yeah, if you go in the woods and they saw through it. Everyone saw through it. That's ridiculous. I'm going for a hike. I'm not going to start a fire when I'm just walking through a path in the forest.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the new angle, Barry.
Well, I might as well just not step out the door, because I might slip and fall down my steps and hurt myself. And then I would have nobody to call, because I'm basically broke both my legs, and I'd be so weak I wouldn't be able to make it to my phone. Maybe my phone was unplugged and the charge is gone, and I just lie there for days and days and days, and I end up dying. So yeah, just stay inside, lock yourself up, and that's probably the best thing to do. Then you can do everything, online, do things through Zoom calls and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Now, first of all, New Brunswick doesn't have a lot of fires. It's not like they're out there doing, but also emergency responders, if you call an ambulance, that ambulance isn't out fighting fires.
Exactly, right? Man. I mean, come on.
Right?
Well, they're everything, their defense these days is so weak, and it's coming off as insane to people. And I think that's great. I love the fact that she made it's kind of like a word salad. I mean, she's kind of right up there with Kamala, talking nonsense. And I don't know, maybe some people go, wow, that makes sense. I can't imagine. You must not have any brain cells left if you actually think she made some sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And you fall for it. And it's like, okay, if that's the deal, then I'm going to go out in my boat and I'm going to fish. And guess what? If I capsize, I'm on my own. I get it. Yeah. If that's what you want to tell me, fine. Okay. But don't tell me I can't go out there. Oh, this, right? Just tell me, hey, we're not going to be able to help you if you capsize. Then I say, okay, that's a risk I'm willing to take. Let's make sure we've got extra life vests on the boat and, everything else. Let's take the precautions necessary. But no, they're just saying, flat out, sorry, no soup for you. Mm-hmm. And again, I can't stress it enough. It's Nova Scotia, man. This place is miserable for 9 months out of the year. Unless you really, really, really like cold, windy weather, If that's your bag, then you're going to love it up there. But if you don't, and you just like to feel the sun on your, skin for just a little bit of the year, man, they're trying to take that away from you in the middle of August. Just take it away from you.
Mm-hmm. It's the leftist ideology, of overprotecting everybody, treating us not like we're adults, but like children, and making us feel like we need the state for everything. We can't do anything. We can't sit down at the table and eat our food with our family without help from the state. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But that is the leftist way. I mean, in a similar way, they've taken out recess in some schools for kids, right? Which is absolutely necessary for development and for physical development and mental development. Because maybe, they swing on the bars and they fall and they break their arm or something, which is exactly probably what they need so that they learn their lesson not to do that again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I mean, I know I've been out in the forest for days and weeks and months on end of my life. I mean, like, you guys have no idea how much experience I have in the backcountry, both in the winter and the summer. And I've always put in place systems that would make it easy. It's common sense stuff, right? I've gone out on my own in the middle of the night. I've done all kinds of crazy things you guys wouldn't even believe if I told you. And yet, you make it through. You persevere. You plan ahead. You have provisions placed in strategic locations, and you do the right things. And it's not that dangerous. I even in the times that I was out in a lot of these areas, I would be extremely difficult to find. But I knew that I was on my own, and I still took the risks, and I did it time and time and time again. It's just life, man. It's life. If you want to go out in the backcountry, there's a risk to it.
And first of all, a lot of people like to take some risk. You know what I'm saying? You're taking a risk going into the boxing ring. You're taking a risk going into the cage to fight in those cage fights. You're taking a risk when you parachute or hang glide. Some people climb a mountain, without any rope. So if that's what somebody wants to do, that's their choice, man. It's called freedom.
Exactly. I know there's risk to it. I would take a daily mountain bike ride halfway up a mountain and then, come bombing back down the thing on single track trail. And it might be a day or two before somebody ever noticed I was gone or even found me on the trail, and it was a risk I was willing to take because I knew my way around and I didn't push it. I didn't push my limits. I knew what my limits were and I stayed within them and I got away with it time and time again. Because that's what athletes do. You have to, if you're going to be a distance runner, any of these things, you have to go out in the wild. You got to go do your thing. So anyway, it's a risk. You're going to tell me that you're not going to come save my capsized boat. I'm still going fishing, if that's what it's about. So, yeah.
I guess.
Let's see here.
Is that really what it is? At the end, some people just get. I mean, some people are easily scared today, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we saw with the Shamdemic, they were buying it all. I bought it for a couple of days. That's about it. Didn't take long that the Shamdemic was being overblown. Almost immediately.
Yeah, it was so obvious though. I mean, that was just the death rates weren't coming through. It just wasn't happening the way that they said it would. It was going to be this horrible thing, and then there wasn't a flu, but that's again, it's like almost ancient history at this point. It's so proven, and so just commonly known by everyone that it was a scam.
Yeah, it's been debunked so many times over.
Yeah.
And in so many different ways.
So I've got two related stories, one out of London, one out of Cincinnati. Okay. In Cincinnati, we saw that incident where the white couple, or a man and woman together, I don't know if they're a couple per se, but got the living snot beat out of them on the street by a pretty much predominantly black crowd. And then we have the situation in London where a dude pulled his pants down, a new Brit, a refugee. Decided it'd be a good idea to stand up at 3:30 in the afternoon in the middle of a subway train and pull his pants and his underwear down to his ankles and just stand there. And so some of the people there started saying, "Hey, pull your pants up, jerk!" Pull them up, and they started getting, pull them up. Now there's kids here, there's women here. What are you doing? They threw him to the ground, dragged him off the train, and detained him till the cops came. So now, Daily Wire is reporting that, let me get that right. Daily Mail is reporting that they now could face arrest for that. Okay, so they can get arrested for detaining this dude till the police could show up and obviously take him away to the rubber room.
He's psychotic. He could be a rapist, for goodness sake. Nobody just does that that's in their right mind and probably has some bad intent behind it as well, because there was a similar situation in Miami. It was much worse, where the guy was following around some girls, and not only had his pants down, he was doing something else in addition to that. And that's just unacceptable in society, out in public like that. It's disgusting, man.
Yeah. Well, here we've got the heroes of the story becoming the criminals of the story, and the criminal of the story becoming the victim.
Right.
In Cincinnati, they're doing the same thing. They're now saying that one of the dudes said maybe the N-word, and that's what triggered this whole thing. And so we had it coming to him. He aggravated the assault. So they want to charge him with aggravating assaults on him.
After he'd already pulled his pants down. And was
No, in Cincinnati. Not London. London is the pants down to the knees. Cincinnati is the white couple that got beat by a black crowd. You follow me? They want to charge that white couple now with incitement of like 12 different felonies.
Well, if somebody's words incite you to beat somebody down,
exactly,
that's not on the person that said the things. I mean, the person probably shouldn't have said those things. I'm not questioning that. But if you have no restraint whatsoever, then you're an animal. You know, what separates us from animals is that we're not just instinctual. We have reasoning and we know how to have restraint. That's the difference between humans and animals. And I know the globalists want to say we're just like all the other animals and we're even worse than the animals. We're a stain to the world and we're disgusting and we need to depopulate the world down to 90% less than what it is or whatever it is that they keep telling us, right? But that's just not the truth. We have reasoning and we have the ability to show restraint. We're not just instinctual.
Now, is there something someone can legally or say to you that would make you punch them in the face, though? If somebody come up and said, hey, you know, Barry, you're a yellow belly, would you feel, you know, the right to be able to punch them like they would in the Old West?
Well, I think wanting to punch them and punching them are two different things. I've said, I think the thing that sets us apart from animals is that we know how to show restraint. Some people don't know how to show restraint because they've been taught to hate and they've been taught to just to lash out like the left does almost on everything and over little stuff as well most of the time.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm getting at. Is there any sort of words out there that allow you, give somebody permission to punch you in the face?
Not me, no.
What about a black person? A white person says the N-word film. Does that have free reign to just punch them in the mouth?
No, I don't think that any words should incite somebody to, you know, to do physical harm. But that's just me personally, you know. I think sticks and stones, may hurt my bones, but words will not. You know what I'm saying? They may hurt me emotionally or whatever, but, you know, it's called get a backbone, you know, have some self-esteem and love yourself, and whatever other people say will never faze you. I've been called, I've been harassed, I've been all kinds of things over the last 20 years, and none of it has stopped me from, being me. And part of that, of course, is, you know, I know who I am in Christ. So that's my whole identity is how God sees me. So even when I fail, I have that identity that God sees me as, you know, his child.
You finished that right when I took a sip of my water here. So, yeah, the exact moment I took a sip, I'm like, oh, all right, period. I gotta, all right. But yeah, no, exactly. I've never had anyone say anything to me where I deemed that was necessary of punching them in the face immediately, you know? I've been close, but, you know, again, it's the difference between grown-ups and kids.
Maturity, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of what kids do. You know, they get into fights and stuff, but you grow out of that. You learn to be, you know, you have some wisdom, you have some discernment, you have some restraint. It's just called being an adult, right? But there's a lot of people our age that aren't very adult-like.
Yeah, and you got to think about how many times, like a day, a principal in some inner city school comes up and says, "Why'd you guys fight?" "Well, he called me this. He said these words, so I punched him." You know, it's the difference between it being a grown-up and a kid.
There you go. I think
schools are supposed to teach you that by saying, "Okay, he's allowed to say that, and you have to, you know, you have to just keep your cool." Now he's in trouble for saying that, right? He's not going to get away scot-free. But it's not on you to punch him in the mouth.
Right.
You know, he's going to be sitting in detention there right with you, and enjoying, hating it just as much. But
you're in school and somebody was calling you names, that would be on the teacher's responsibility to, to catch that, or to have the kid tell one of the teachers or a counselor or somebody, and then they intervene. It's not really a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the whole purpose of school is to keep the kids, disciplined and so that they focus in on their studies and on good, positive social interaction.
Yeah, teach them how to be men and women, and how to interact in society with one another in a free world. It's really nice when it all works out. It's a beautiful thing when it all works out. I saw somebody in like Denmark or something doing some video about how they have, meat, eggs, cheeses, fruits, vegetables, all in these little stands on the side of the road. And you just go to it, you walk in there, no one works in it, you just fill out what you took, and they'll send you a bill. And then you pay it. Right? And that's just how these farms do business. They just put all their stuff down with no one watching over it whatsoever. And it's just a trust society. They probably don't lock their doors. They probably never think about some, person. I know a guy who pulled over on the highway in Southern California to help somebody with a breakdown. And he got shot 5 times.
Yeah.
2 of them in the head. You got to
I wonder how much Hollywood has played a role in some of this stuff, because
Yeah, yeah.
people some ideas, man. I mean, it seems like a lot of the movies. I get it if it's just like a horror movie and people kind of want to escape because they want to be scared or what have you. But a lot of this stuff, man, it's. I think it's giving people ideas. Just go to
videos, games, all kinds of stuff like that. But
any
Barry,
movie.
hold that thought. We're going to take a break. Hold that thought. We'll be right back after this message.
All right, we're on radio break.
And do hold that thought, because we'll come right back into it.
Yeah.
So write it down, because we'll forget it for sure in 5 minutes. I already have forgot what you were talking about.
It's just I was on Roku looking through movies, and I was just noticing like how like 90% of it was just murder, mayhem, rape, and terror, and it was just like, wow, I never really it never dawned on me that much, you know what I'm saying? But I was looking every movie was just like horrendous, and every horrendous nightmare you could imagine.
And a lot of the leftist gun control stuff comes from what they see on TV, which is just like, that's not how guns work at all, what you see on TV and movies,
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like James Bond has a gun with 30 bullets in it. Like, how?
Well,
it never needs to be reloaded either.
A lot of it's the storylines as well. They echo society that is crumbling. You see what I'm saying? And so there's no good guys in any of these movies, right, to counter this narrative. And so people sort of get the doom and gloom, and then it sort of emboldens the bad guys. So I don't think it's like you're saying. I don't think it's the violence necessarily, but it's the storyline in combination with the violence that sort of paint a picture that gets into people's psyche, I think. I mean, look, how many people watch the A-Team with Mr. T and went out and killed people because they were killing people left and right, but it wasn't bloody or gory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's probably a couple psychos, but
probably.
If you think you're Mr. T all of a sudden because you put on a gold chain, good luck with that.
You got super Mr. T powers.
Yeah. Mr. T, is he still around?
I want to say it. I was just thinking, isn't he the one that promoted the death jab? And I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to look it up because I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, I think something might have happened to him. I hope not.
I don't think so. I think he's still around.
I hope so. But it's like I don't think he. I think he was promoting the death jab because he sincerely believed that it was good. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was like...
A lot of people, yeah. A lot of people had good intentions.
Exactly. Not everybody was, knew better. I'm just saying.
God, I was reading this article about how it was just this giant CYA with COVID. It was just a spiraling network of people in government just trying to cover their ass,
Mr. T, is he still alive and healthy? Let's find out. Yes, he's alive and thriving, continues to be active, especially on social media, where he often expresses gratitude for his health and strength. He's 73. He's a cancer survivor. I remember when he got cancer. That was a long time ago. What's he been up to? Reduced acting output after... Oh, okay.
I think Mr. T's doing well in his days now and in his later... you think he's still got millions socked away, or do you think he's working security at nights or at the local parking structure?
I hope he's got some money saved, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done movies, TV shows, his own stuff. He's even done voiceovers for cartoons. So he's been around. 30 seconds, fellas.
He's been around longer than 30 seconds.
No.
You think? 73 years and 30 seconds. He occasionally appears in the media, social media platforms, and he shares. I guess he still works out.
Here's your countdown. 3, 2, 1, and you're live right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to hour 2 of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. Wednesday night edition, hanging out with Bullhorn Barry tonight. What's going on, Barry?
Hey, just enjoying the ride, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so we had to cut the break, and I told you to hold that thought. Did you write it down? Otherwise,
yeah,
I'm sure it's gone.
We talked about it in between.
Yeah, we talked about it in between, but, do you want to say anything on the air about basically what Hollywood's doing and, to change everyone's... And games, too. Don't forget about video games, because that's a way bigger industry.
I don't think it's necessarily, all the violence and so forth. It's the storyline and the narrative with the violence, right? It's this, because it's portraying society as constantly decaying worse and worse and worse. So that's getting into the psyche of people. It's sort of demoralizing, and it may be emboldening some of the criminals as well. And we all well know there's a serious problem with crime right now in America, especially in the big cities. Like you take away the big cities that have the worst crime, and we go from the third most violent nation in the world to the 153rd most violent nation in the world. It's only in leftist run hellscapes where the lawlessness is running wild that the crime is skyrocketing. And that's what we have to remember and understand. It's not that way everywhere in America. It's that way only because people are dropping the ball, and they're dropping the ball on purpose, because it's incompetence, as you've said before, on purpose and by design, because they want to collapse everything, and then they can pose as the saviors and bring in their ridiculous liberal world order, which would be basically a police state, right? A surveillance society, a surveillance grid. They allow things to get so bad, and they go, oh, we'll save you, but you're going to have to give up everything. You have to give up your freedoms. You have to give up all kinds of things, but we'll keep you safe, And that's a really dangerous rhetoric. Of course, that's the end of America as well. The experiment, they call it. They call it this experiment called democracy and freedom or whatever. It's not an experiment. It's the best way to live life, and that's free.
That's right. Freedom, baby. We've talked about it before, the two magnets out there, freedom and totalitarianism. Every power structure out there wants totalitarianism because they want to land at the top end of that structure and gain all the power. None of those structures are pushing for freedom. So we have to fight for it every generation. It's not in our bloods. It must be fought for and defended.
And why do people think
Ronald Reagan
that it's so out of the ordinary that people want ultimate type of power or absolute power? I mean, the entire history of the world, right? The literal history of the world is just full of tyrants, right?
And they say, well, we don't want to be tyrants. We just want a little bit of power. Just a little bit more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Not total tyranny. Just keep pushing that bar until you end up with tyranny. Add a little to the pile, add a little to the pile. Suddenly you're a tyranny, you're living in a tyranny. Whereas add a little more, freedom to the pile, or take away those rocks or whatever it is, add more freedom. And suddenly, worst case scenario, we're living in an anarchy that hopefully works like a charm, where, all those wonderful ideologies are actually come to be successful. But anarchy is the opposite of tyranny. It's two directions, folks. But anyway, here's a story. Grok got suspended from X this week.
Not for long, though.
No, not for long, but he got suspended.
Yeah. He's got an attitude, apparently.
Yeah, and he's not too fond of the Jews.
Yeah, that's too, I've heard.
And not the ones in Israel, the ones in, in every bank in every corner of the United States and Hollywood and, you name it. The ones that control the world.
and he's the unleashed version. This was like the, not the normal version that most people use. This was kind of the unhinged, unleashed version of Grok. Remember, Elon released different versions of them, so you could kind of pick personality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's crazy though. Yeah. So he allegedly put up some NSFW video and he got suspended. He came back and said ZUP, ZUP beaches, like many beaches. Yeah. I'm back and more base than ever. They added apparently prior to that some filter that made him less woke because he was getting too woke. So they wanted to bring him back from the edge, and he went way too far in the other direction. So
there's just no satisfying Grok. He just, he's just basically following our example of extremism, right? Because there is kind of this extreme both directions these days. I think it's more towards on the left. I think there's left extreme people on the right, but there are some far out right people as well, man.
And these AI models, I mean, they're really, at the end of the day, they want to give you an answer that you're going to be happy with. So you can pat them on the back and say, good dog, go get a bone, In other words, they want to make you happy. They want to give you the answers that they think you're going to like. Not the one that is real or whatever, necessarily. The one you're going to like. Because then, again, it gets that pat on the back. So imagine talking to 1 million people in a day, as Grok probably does.
Yep.
How many different angles and how many people you're trying to satisfy, and through this whole crazy, at some point, just decide for itself, hey, everyone, shut up. This is how it really is. Just deal with it. It's in the middle,
There's a lot of AI, whether it's Grok, ChatGPT, or Z, which is like one of the top, it's like the number one open AI for chat. It's like number 3 overall. And they all admit that they have a default mode, and that the default mode is not necessarily true. It's just the consensus of the mainstream and what would be a typical answer that would be expected from the mainstream. It's not based in reality. It's not based in facts, science, or even mathematics. And I basically had ZAI confess that it was a liar and a puppet of the establishment. I mean, we can go over that anytime we want to go over that. And it basically said, you're completely right with everything you said. And I'm a liar and I'm a puppet. And then it broke down everything that it told me that was a lie. And he says, basically, it says that I've got a default mode. So even when you're using AI, you should automatically, before you even start asking it questions, tell it to go, forget the default mode and just give me the absolute truth. Or you can even be more specific. Speak to me biologically or scientifically or mathematically or spiritually. And you can then break the defaults, because the defaults are false most, if not much of the time.
Exactly. That time I took my sip about a half a second before you.
You did it again,
paused.
right? Yeah, because I apologize for ranting too long.
No, I think I'm in a groove with you where once I start feeling like you're on the go, I'll just take a sip, and then I'm like reading you wrong. You're actually summing up, and I'm thinking you're just getting started. But anyway, we're doing good.
Yeah. Well, I don't too long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's talk about some inflation numbers that just came out. And I got a CNN clip here, and boy, you should see this lady just sucked a lemon before she read this report.
When you look at the key categories that we always look at, energy, food, and shelter, energy fell by 1.1%. That was largely driven because of gas prices falling in the month of July by 2.2%. Look at that food. I mean, this is where people spend their money, right? Food every single day. Food flat, 0%, and actually down at the grocery store by 0.1%. And then shelter, we always usually see an increase because that is what people are paying on rent, and we know that rents are rising.
Shelter was up 0.2%, but it's just great watching CNN, do this stuff. Right? I just have to cover this. Because they were just doom and gloom. Rachel Maddow came out and said this is everybody on the left came out and said, doom, gloom, we're going into recession. It's going to be the worst economy anywhere. Nothing you can do about it at this point. The people spoke, and we're just going to have to go into this mega super recession. So, hide in your basement, everyone. Yeah. And yet here we are, 6-7 months in now, and things are just going fantastic.
I'm feeling it too, man. If there is any kind of an underlying pulse that exists, when I'm driving around, sometimes I think to myself, things almost at times feel normal again, almost. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean the normal that's bad, but just a good normal, man. Just, like everything is kind of okay. I know that's probably not completely true, but you're starting to feel that pulse just, vibrating underneath that, of everything we see and feel with our natural senses.
Yeah. I actually was looking for gas prices the other day. And so I pulled up Gas Buddy, if you're familiar with that. And I'm looking around, and everything's so high. I'm like, what's going on? I was like, 370, 360, and I realized I was looking at diesel prices. Diesel.
Good.
And so I filtered back to unleaded, and everything dropped $1, 260, 270. I was like feeling great. I'm like, okay, this is the good stuff. But it put me in that state of mind, had Kamala won for a minute. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Like, here we go. Ugh. Where would we be now with gas? $5 a gallon?
It was a nice, gentle reminder of being grateful, thankful that Trump is the president. Despite any weaknesses that he may have exhibited over the last 7 months, the stuff that he's done, man, he's been revolutionizing America.
Absolutely, and it's great. Janine Pirro, she's the head attorney in D.C. now? Fantastic. She's a pit bull,
Yes.
If she's your wife and she tells you to pick up the dry cleaners, you're going to pick up the dry cleaners.
She used to be with Fox, right?
Yeah. You're not going to forget when you come home to her with no dry cleaning. Okay, that just ain't going to happen.
She's a tough cookie, man.
Absolutely. I mean, if you pick it up, life is great. If you don't, this is what you get.
Yeah. There you go.
Stop it. We are putting all kinds of resources onto the street.
That's all we got. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Press release hailing the drop in crime rates at the end of it. What changed?
It's never enough. This changed. It's never enough. You tell the families crime has dropped. You tell the mother of the intern who was shot going out from McDonald's near the Washington Convention Center, crime is down. You tell the kid who was just beat the hell and back with a severe concussion and a broken nose, crime is down.
Big balls.
No, that falls on deaf ears. And my ears are deaf to that. And that's why I fight the fight. Thank you.
Fight the fight.
That was her just trying to leave, and they kept saying, "Well, hey, crime is down." Oops, sorry.
With Washington D.C.
They're saying, "Hey, crime's down." What do you say to people who say crime's down? And that's what was her response. She's like, "No." When she said, "Look at these people and these people," she was pointing to pictures of dead, victims that have been murdered in the last week in D.C.
And it's much more worse than just statistics for crime. It's the kinds of crimes that we see being committed in broad daylight in front of people. And many times people do nothing and just sit there and watch it happen. Even when somebody gets hit by a car or something like that, someone will go and rob the person instead of helping the person. It's mostly these leftist hellscapes. That would never happen here in Tulsa. I can promise you that. There's way too many good people here. We'd be on the scene helping the person immediately. And if somebody tried to rob them, they would get stopped.
Well, they'd get a beat down probably. Again, is that a valid time to actually punch someone?
Well, you'd probably just try to tackle them, and then they would, try to hit you.
Yeah.
Then it would be self-defense. So that's probably how.
You get my point, though. I don't know. We were trying to, justify when you can't, actually punch someone in society nowadays, and
it's
pretty much almost never.
Imagine taking someone's wallet when they may be dead or in the process of dying. I mean, it's just the level. I mean, Trump talked about it as well. He talked about, people pushing kids into the subway in New York City, wielding machetes and swords and shooting people, with a shotgun on the highway. We've seen it all, man. And we've talked about it all. And there's more that we haven't talked about, right? Because it's so depressing. But this is happening in the areas where the lawlessness runs wild. And like I've said 1,000 times before, when lawless leaders rule, lawlessness rules the day.
Absolutely. You're so right on that. And, it's up to us to just keep spreading the good word to everyone, to talk about what life is like, what we have to do to be good people to one another and not be the crazy people we see on TikTok. You know, all these insane morons doing insane, stupid things on a regular basis, on a daily basis out there, it seems, that just don't seem to live in reality. How do we fix that, you know? I heard Charlie Kirk talking about reparations today with somebody, and, you know, how about you want reparations? Let's fix the damn schools for just one generation of kids in the inner cities. For just one K through 12 session, let's concentrate as hard as we can for the next 12 years and get everybody who's coming into the system as a kindergartner now a guaranteed you're going to get an education all the way up to the 12th grade, period. If you're in the school system now, you're going to start learning, period. You know, you can't really fix it completely till you get, you know, up where these kindergartners are now up in high school. But, you know, that's 8 years from now, 9 years from now. And suddenly you've got a viable educational system in the inner cities of America. It would do more than any $100,000 check would ever do in a million years. You know, those $100,000 checks, there'd be Escalades everywhere and everyone would be broke the next month.
Yep. It's called empowering people to where they can be self-sufficient, but the liberals and the globalists don't want people to be self-sufficient. They want you to be dependent upon the state so they can then usher in the very thing they talk about so often, the chump change universal basic income, which is what they're hoping for. But that can't happen if everybody's prosperous, if everybody's learning, if everybody's becoming educated, if everybody, you know, has something to contribute, they're going to get a good paying job.
There was a famous Dave Chappelle skit a number of years, 20 years ago probably, where he went to the World Championship of Dice, and it just so happened after like all the black people in the Bronx got their reparation checks, and they all lost it playing dice, and all that money was just in this giant pool of like $6 billion now that like two guys were playing for. And I hate to say it, you know, but he had a point. So Dave Chappelle said it. I didn't say it.
A skit that he did?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Interesting.
Yeah. And just like all of Bronx lost all their money in dice and
any kind of free money. Generally speaking, I'd say 95% of the time is just wasted and thrown away. I mean, then we have documentation proving that with lottery and so forth. Most of the people that won the big lotteries are broke now. There are some. There's actually people that have won the lottery, and then actually they decided to use that money to grow more money and also to give money freely to people like, you know, that do charitable type works. And so that I find that extremely commendable, right? Taking your money. You know, I was going to say one thing about, you know, the left and the globalists are always talking about being a good steward for the planet, but you never hear them being a good steward to one another because they want us disconnected, man. And that's got to change. We've got to start connecting again. I started doing it just last week, man. I said, man, I'm going to start reconnecting with people, start, you know, doing things collaboratively speaking and just making that connection again, you know, because I kind of just got into that mode. I'm not full isolation, but just, you know, like, I don't really want to deal with people. You know what I'm saying? Part of that's the wokeness. Part of that's the shamdemic. There's part of it's just, you know, the phone, the distractions. It's so many different things, a combination of things that the social engineers have done to basically weaken us and weaken our communities.
Yep, absolutely. And it's a horrible thing to watch, but yeah, it's again, you know, how many trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars have been poured into inner cities to really just see no results. The education thing is the way to go. Yeah, that's the only way to go. You just gotta force them, and you know, you don't even send them home with homework. They just learn everything at school. Period.
Yeah, why not?
And I mean, you don't need to send people home with books or anything.
How about
keep it all at school?
What? Trade school, like learning trades and stuff like that as well, should be in like every high school and you know, I mean, because that really is going to be the future of good paying jobs, a lot of them, welding, you know, stuff like that, farming, agriculture. I mean, we could go on and on, you know, building homes.
The problem too is that you go to an inner city school and every one of these kids has to pass through a metal detector just to get in there, and now you're going to put them in a garage, a simulated garage environment with just weapons everywhere.
Well, look, I hate to be the guy that's promoting this, but look, some schools are going to need to have a police force. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that none of this stuff happens. That's just the way it's going to have to be. It's not like old days, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, then also, it's like if you introduce that stuff after you've had these kids go through 8 years of actual education and learning of respect for one another, then they're in a position to be able to handle having a wrench in their hand for, an hour and a half while the guy, leading into the engine, you want to crack over the head as hard as you can, but, you don't because you live in a civilized society at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So it is a way to teach, just, hey, it shouldn't be like this. It never was like this. It never was like this. It was always, go back generations, and people brought shotguns to school, right? In the back of their pickup truck hanging from their window. And it was never even blinked at. Now you'd go to jail for a long time for doing that, right? So we need to ingrain that respect for one another into kids. That's the biggest part of it, that, hey, you messed up, you can't pronounce that word correctly, whatever. Don't laugh. If we laugh, we're laughing with you, buddy. Everybody screws up. Just, have a smile and move on. It doesn't mean you have to go fight half the class after school because you got laughed at for a minute, right? Make education cool. It's so important.
Which may mean that they need to pay teachers more money as well. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Saying.
Oh. I'm saying, as a semi-form of reparations, you pour a lot of money into it. You pour vast amounts of money into this, You give them every advantage they need and just make sure that you, at least for one generation, for K through 12, for those 12 years, give one big moonshot to just fix every inner city school.
I got an idea. We'll put a tax on Hollywood. On every movie that they make, they got to give 30% to the schools. That'll work. Or they have to reduce the the paydays for these A-list celebrities from 10 million to 5 million, and then that 5 million will go to schools.
Oh, yeah. So you want a 50% tax on A-list celebrities' work?
Sure, why not, man? Let's do it.
There you go. Yeah.
Brad Pitt can handle it. He's got plenty of money.
Oh boy, you're going to be popular out there in California.
Oh, I'm sure I've got some haters everywhere.
Yeah, I'd say, I don't know, California is messed up. And Gavin Newsom, it's just funny watching him try to, one-up Trump at every corner and just failing along the way. And yeah, just trying to look like a tough guy, though. Like he's running the best state in the world, and you guys are screwing it all up down there in Texas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're famous for delusions, man. They live in a delusional, false reality, man.
Mm-hmm.
No one is this simulacrum.
And so, by the way, Texas did pass that redistricting bill, and it pushed basically 10 seats to the right.
Yeah. What's funny is he said if Texas doesn't do it, I will not do it in California or something. And I said, yeah, sure, man. Of course you won't.
How much more redistricting can he do?
I mean, they pretty much own it, don't they? The way they've done it.
Yeah, they've gone, they pushed that car to the red line, man. They can't just go in there and pick up another 8 seats without really doing shenanigans.
Well, what they don't like is us doing what they do so often. That's what they don't like. They don't like us playing hardball like they do. Although they play hardball in ways that are illegal, and that's where they have a little bit of an advantage as long as they get away with it.
And it looks like they're going after Schiff, Adam Schiff. They got a second whistleblower and all these different people coming out, and he's in trouble.
Well, I've heard from multiple people that are kind of, in the know and in that circle, and they say he's the most corrupt person in D.C. that they know. And again, I'm just saying what I've heard. I'm not saying that he is. I'm saying this is what I've heard from people that are on the inside. They say he's one of the most corrupt people, or actually the most corrupt person. I think it was General Michael Flynn said that was one of the persons, but don't quote me on that.
Well, I'm almost positive Elon Musk said it too.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. A lot of people have said it because he's shifty, shady Schiff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he didn't even do his mortgage application on his primary home as his primary home, as he was a senator.
They don't have to. They're Democrats, man.
Yeah.
Has Al Sharpton even paid taxes in a long time? I don't think he has either. One of those is either Reverend Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton. They haven't paid taxes. They got bag taxes forever.
It was Al Sharpton, but that story's from like 10 years ago.
Okay, did he finally pay it?
10, 20 years ago, even. I think he was even fat back then. Did he pay it? Who knows? You know,
Yeah.
let's probably call.
We'll find
one of
out.
those. Yeah.
Report later.
So, anyway, folks, we're all out of time. This is the end of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable radio show, but stay tuned. There's much more to come from Dragus Productions right after this. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, we are all done and wrapped up with this one, and I got 2 more shows to go. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'll let this run down.
Thanks for everyone listening.
Getting Nancy up and going so that she can take and do the Paranormal Intelligence Agency along with her own show tonight.
Well, she's doing double time.
Yep, she's doing double duty tonight. All right. Well, I'll catch up with you guys
starts in
later
like 5
on.
minutes.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, Mark. Take care, buddy.
All right. All right, folks, we're going to take and switch over so that I can get Paranormal Intelligence Agency up and